Every day, I follow the same routine. I leave work at the chemical plant just before dusk, my uniform a little grimy, but my spirits light. The walk home is my sanctuary, a chance to unwind after hours of testing and machinery. There's something calming about the steady rhythm of my footsteps against the pavement, the way the world quiets down as night falls. I can let go of the day's stress and anticipate the simple joys of home. Tonight, the air is crisp, carrying the familiar scent of autumn. I adjust my coat against the chill and quicken my pace, eager to see my wife, Clara, and our son, Jamie. I always imagine the comforting embrace of my home, a warm kitchen filled with the aroma of Clara's cooking. The little things that make life sweet. As I round the corner onto our street, I spot a stray dog darting across the road. I slow down, instinctively watching for any more wildlife. But tonight, it isn't just the stray that catches my eye. A shape, almost indistinguishable from the shadows, shifts by the side of the road. My heart skips a beat. I slow the car even further, peering into the dimming light. I mutter to myself, "Damn it, what now?" I squint through the windshield, trying to make out what it is. As I draw closer, the shape becomes clearer. A young girl, lying on the grass, her clothes torn and her body smeared with dirt and blood. Panic grips me. Clara's going to kill me if I'm late, I think, but the urgency of the situation overpowers my usual concerns. I pull over, my mind racing. I check my phone, hoping to call for help, but it's dead. I step out of the car, my boots crunching on the gravel as I hurry towards her. The sight of her, a small, trembling figure barely visible in the darkness, makes my heart ache. "Hey, kiddo, it's going to be okay," I say, trying to keep my voice steady. "I'm going to get you to the hospital." The girl's eyes, wide with fear, meet mine. She doesn't say a word, just whimpers softly as I gently lift her into my arms. Her weight is light, but her pain is palpable. In the back seat of the car, I glance at her, trying to offer a reassuring smile. "You're going to be all right. Just hang in there, okay?" I start the car and drive with the utmost care, my mind still reeling. I keep glancing back at the girl, wondering if I'm doing enough, if she'll be all right. The hospital is just a few miles away, but it feels like an eternity. As I pull up to the emergency entrance, I'm greeted by a flurry of activity. I shout for help, my voice cracking with anxiety. Nurses rush over, taking the girl from my arms and into the emergency room. I stand there, waiting, feeling a mix of relief and dread. The girl's father will be here soon. The realization hits me with a jolt. What if I know him? I shake off the thought and pull out my phone, trying to call Clara. "Oliver, where are you?" "Dinner's almost ready." Clara's voice crackles through the line, filled with concern. I'm sorry, Clara," I stammer. "I'm running late. I had to stop for an emergency. I'll explain later." "Be careful, okay? Jamie's asking where you are." "I will, I promise," before hanging up. I can't help but worry about how this incident will affect my family. All I can do now is hope that the girl will be okay, and that I can make it back home soon to explain everything. The emergency room is a whirlwind of activity. I watch as the girl is rushed into the trauma unit, her small form disappearing behind the swinging doors. I pace the waiting room, my anxiety growing with every tick of the clock. My mind drifts back to the girl's terrified eyes, and I shiver. A few minutes later, a man bursts into the waiting room, his face pale and drawn. He looks around frantically, and when his gaze meets mine, he strides over with urgent steps. I can see the resemblance immediately. This must be the girl's father. "Are you the one who brought her in?" he asks, his voice tight with fear and exhaustion. I nod, my throat dry. "Yes, I found her on the side of the road. I tried to get her here as quickly as I could." The man looks me up and down, a flicker of recognition in his eyes. "I'm Harry Morrow." My daughter, Emily. How is she? I don't know yet. They took her in right away. I reply, trying to keep my voice calm despite the tension. I hope she'll be okay. Harry takes a deep breath, his hands trembling. Thank you for stopping. I don't know what I would have done if you hadn't found her. I manage a weak smile. I'm just glad I could help. I was lucky to be in the right place at the right time. Harry nods, but I can see the worry etched on his face. I just hope she's going to be all right. Just then, a nurse approaches, her expression serious. Mr. Morrow, we've stabilized your daughter. We need to run some tests, but she's in stable condition for now. Harry's shoulders sag with a mix of relief and exhaustion. He turns to me, his eyes filled with gratitude. I can't thank you enough. It's a miracle. Don't mention it, I say, though my thoughts are elsewhere. The name Harry Morrow rings a bell, but I can't quite place it. I keep replaying it in my mind, searching for a connection. I excuse myself, stepping outside to clear my head. The cool night air is a sharp contrast to the tense atmosphere inside. I sit on a nearby bench, pulling out my phone and scrolling through my contacts, trying to remember where I've heard that name before. As I sit there, I hear a familiar voice behind me. Oliver, is that you? I turn to see Tom, an old friend and former colleague from my time before the wrongful conviction. Tom, I say, standing up. I didn't expect to see you here. Tom's face reflects concern. I heard about the accident on the news. What happened? I found an injured girl on the side of the road and brought her to the hospital, I explain. Her father, Harry Morrow, seems to be really shaken up. Tom's eyes widen in recognition. Harry Morrow, the judge who sentenced you. My heart skips a beat. Yes, that's the one. I didn't realize it until just now. I'm not sure what to do. It feels like I'm being dragged back into my past. Tom puts a hand on my shoulder. Just remember, Oliver, you did a good thing. No matter what happened before, you're helping someone now. I nod, but the unease remains. The name Harry Morrow brings back a flood of memories, courtrooms, false accusations, the loss of my freedom. I'm caught in a moral dilemma, trying to balance the good I've done with the past I can't seem to escape. As Tom leaves, I take a deep breath and return to the waiting room. Harry is still there, his face a mask of worry and exhaustion. I approach him again, trying to shake off the unease. Harry, I say, if there's anything else I can do, just let me know. Harry looks at me with a mix of relief and fatigue. I appreciate that. I'm just trying to process everything. It's been a rough day. Tell me about it, I reply, forcing a smile. It's been quite the evening for both of us. We sit in silence for a moment, both lost in our thoughts. The tension between us is palpable, but I sense a fragile bond forming, born out of a shared moment of crisis. As the hours tick by, I can only hope that Emily will be all right, and that this unexpected encounter will bring some resolution to both our lives. The sterile fluorescent lights of the hospital waiting room flicker overhead as I sit in the hard plastic chair, my nerves frayed. The minutes feel like hours as I try to distract myself from the gnawing anxiety that Emily's fate could have been so different if I hadn't found her. The ER doors swing open, and a flurry of activity surrounds a new patient being wheeled in. I glance up, only to see a familiar face. A face I never expected to see in a hospital setting. It's Harry Morrow, the judge who sentenced me to 10 years in prison for a crime I didn't commit. My heart sinks as the recognition hits me. Harry looks disheveled, his usually impeccable suit now rumpled and stained. He seems to be in a state of shock as he rushes towards the nurse's station. I hesitate for a moment before walking over, my mind racing with conflicting emotions. Mr. Morrow, I say cautiously, trying to keep my voice steady. I didn't expect to see you here. Harry looks up, his face a mix of exhaustion and confusion. Oliver. I didn't think I'd see you either. My daughter was just admitted here. Emily. Yes. I respond, struggling to keep my composure. I was the one who brought her in. Harry's eyes widen with a mix of relief and disbelief. You're the one who saved her? I nod. Yes, I found her on the side of the road. I didn't have a way to call for help, so I brought her myself. Harry seems to be grappling with a whirlwind of emotions. I don't know how to thank you. I was just sitting at home, completely unaware that my daughter was out there. I owe you so much. There's a pause as the weight of the situation settles over us. Harry's gaze drifts away, and I can see the guilt and turmoil etched into his features. I need to ask, I venture cautiously, did you know Emily was out that late? Was she? Harry's face tightens with a pained expression. No, she wasn't supposed to be out. She was supposed to be at a friend's house. I don't know how she ended up there. Before we can continue, a nurse approaches us. Mr. Morrow, we have an update on your daughter. She's stable for now, but will need to run more tests. Harry nods, his face pale with worry. Thank you. I'll be right there. As the nurse leaves, Harry turns back to me, his expression a mix of gratitude and apprehension. Oliver, I don't know what's going through your mind right now, but I need you to know. Please, Harry, I cut in, trying to maintain my composure. I don't want to rehash the past right now. I'm here for Emily. Let's focus on her. Harry looks at me, a flicker of understanding in his eyes. You're right. I'm sorry. It's just, I'm overwhelmed. As we both sit down in the waiting room, the atmosphere is thick with unspoken words. The hospital's muted sounds, distant beeping monitors, hurried footsteps, seem to amplify the tension between us. After a while, Harry breaks the silence. You know, Oliver, I never thought I'd find myself in this position. It's ironic, isn't it? The very man I wronged is now the one who saved my daughter. I shift uncomfortably in my chair. Life has a way of throwing us into unexpected situations. I'm just glad I was able to help. Harry nods, his eyes reflecting a deep sense of regret. I've been meaning to make amends for what I did, but I never expected it to happen like this. The conversation is interrupted by a new figure entering the waiting room. A middle-aged woman with a look of distress. She scans the room and her eyes land on Harry. Harry, she exclaims, rushing over. Is Emily all right? Harry stands to embrace her, his relief evident. Anna, she's stable. They're running some tests. Anna's eyes dart to me. And you are? This is Oliver, Harry explains. He's the one who brought Emily in. Anna's face softens with gratitude. Thank you, Oliver. We're so grateful. I nod, feeling the weight of the day pressing down on me. I'm just glad she's getting the care she needs. As Anna and Harry sit down together, I quietly excuse myself. I need some fresh air to clear my head and process everything that has happened. I step outside into the cool night, trying to find some clarity amid the whirlwind of emotions. My thoughts keep returning to the judge and our past connection. This chance meeting feels like a cruel twist of fate. I find myself wondering if this encounter will change anything for either of us, or if it's just another chapter in a long, painful story. The cool night air does little to soothe the storm of thoughts swirling in my mind. After a few moments of trying to clear my head outside the hospital, I find myself drawn back inside, unable to shake the uneasy feeling that lingers. As I re-enter the waiting room, I catch sight of Harry and Anna in a quiet conversation at the far end, their voices low and strained. Taking a deep breath, I approach them, my footsteps echoing slightly in the empty corridor. Harry looks up as I approach, his expression a mix of relief and apprehension. Oliver, he says, standing up and gesturing for me to join them. I didn't expect to see you back so soon. Anna's gaze shifts between Harry and me, clearly sensing the tension. Is everything all right? I nod, forcing a small smile. Just needed to get some air. I'm fine. Please, have a seat, Harry offers, motioning to a row of chairs. We need to talk. I sit down, trying to keep my composure. Anna takes a seat beside Harry, her eyes full of concern. There's a moment of awkward silence before Harry speaks again. Oliver, he begins, I'm aware that this must be difficult for you. What happened between us? It was wrong. I want to explain. No, I interrupt, raising a hand to stop him. I don't want to revisit the past right now. We're here for Emily. I just want to know she's okay. Harry looks down, visibly distressed. I understand. But I need you to know that I've been haunted by my actions. I've spent years trying to come to terms with the injustice I did. Anna places a reassuring hand on Harry's arm. Harry, maybe it's best if we let Oliver be for now. He's done so much already. Harry shakes his head. No, Anna. He deserves to know the truth. Oliver, I made a terrible mistake. I should never have sentenced you based on flimsy evidence. The words hang heavy in the air. My mind flashes back to the courtroom, the cold gavel, and the years of hardship that followed. I struggle to keep my emotions in check. Harry, I say, my voice trembling slightly, I've spent years of my life paying for a crime I didn't commit. My family and I have suffered enough. Harry's eyes are full of remorse. I know, Oliver. I'm sorry. I can't undo what's been done, but I want to make things right in any way I can. I've been trying to find ways to atone, but nothing feels sufficient. Anna looks at me sympathetically. We understand that words alone can't heal the past, but Harry genuinely wants to make amends. I meet Harry's gaze, searching for any sign of genuine regret. Making amends is a start, but it doesn't change what happened. I've tried to rebuild my life, but it's been hard. I don't know if anything can fix that. Harry looks pained, his voice dropping to a whisper. I wish there was something more I could do. I'm planning to make a formal statement, to publicly acknowledge my mistake and help clear your name. I take a deep breath, trying to process the gravity of his offer. That's a start. But I still need to figure out how to move forward with my life. Anna gives me a reassuring nod. We all do. Maybe this is a chance for all of us to find some resolution. There's a moment of silence as we each contemplate the weight of the conversation. The atmosphere is charged with unresolved emotions and unspoken regrets. Thank you for being honest with me, I finally say. It's not easy to confront these things, but I appreciate your willingness to try. Harry nods, visibly relieved. I understand. And I promise I'll do everything in my power to help make things right. As we sit in the quiet waiting room, the tension begins to ease. The weight of the past still looms, but there's a faint glimmer of hope that perhaps, in time, healing can begin. The late afternoon sun filters through the blinds, casting long shadows across the room. I sit alone in my small, cluttered study, surrounded by the familiar hum of old paperwork and dusty files. It's been a few days since the tense conversation with Harry and Anna, and I've had some time to reflect on everything that's transpired. My mind is restless, replaying memories from the past and trying to piece together the fragments of my shattered life. I pick up an old photograph from my desk, a snapshot of happier times before everything changed. It shows me, younger and more hopeful, standing next to my wife, Sarah, at a family picnic. Her smile is wide, her eyes bright. I can almost hear her laughter in the background. Hey, Oliver. Sarah's voice cuts through my reverie as she walks into the room, her concern evident in her eyes. You've been in here for hours. Are you okay? I look up, trying to smile, but it feels more like a grimace. Just thinking about the past, I reply. It's hard to let go of everything that's happened. Sarah sits beside me, her hand gently resting on mine. I know it's been tough. You've been carrying a lot of weight for a long time. What did Harry say to you? He admitted his mistakes, I say slowly. He wants to make amends, but it doesn't change the years I lost or the pain we went through. Sura nods sympathetically. It's a start though, right? It's something. And maybe, in time, it'll help. I suppose, I reply, glancing back at the photograph. But it's hard not to feel bitter. The years I lost, the missed opportunities, it's like trying to reclaim something that's already been taken. Sura's eyes are soft as she looks at me. You've come so far despite everything. We've built a life together, and you've done everything you can to move forward. It's okay to feel hurt, but don't let it consume you. Her words are comforting, but they don't completely erase the lingering anger and sadness. Sometimes, I wonder if it's worth it, I admit. All the struggles, all the pain. Was it worth fighting to rebuild? Sura squeezes my hand, her voice filled with warmth. Yes, it was. Because through it all, you've shown incredible strength and resilience. You fought for us, for a future. That's worth something. I look at her, feeling a mix of gratitude and sorrow. I just wish things had turned out differently. I wish I didn't have to face Harry or deal with the remnants of the past. Sura leans in closer. No matter what happened, you've always been a fighter. You've never let the past define you. And you've always found a way to push through, no matter how hard it's been. I take a deep breath, feeling a bit lighter. Thanks for saying that. I needed to hear it. There's a knock on the door, and Sura gets up to answer it. She opens it to reveal our young daughter, Lily, standing there with a drawing in her hand. Daddy, look, Lily exclaims, her eyes shining with excitement. I drew a picture for you. She hands me the drawing, a colorful depiction of our family, complete with stick figures and a big bright sun. I can't help but smile, the simple joy in her eyes cutting through the heaviness of the past. This is beautiful, Lily, I say, hugging her close. Thank you. Sura watches with a soft smile, and I can feel the warmth of our little family enveloping me. For a moment, the past recedes, replaced by the simple, undeniable joy of the present. As Lily tugs at my sleeve, eager to show me more of her artwork, I realize that while I can't change the past, I can cherish the moments that matter now. I may never fully escape the shadows of what happened, but with my family by my side, I have a chance to find peace and move forward. The air in the room feels heavy as I sit across from Harry at a small cafe near his home. The once bustling eatery is now quiet, save for the soft clinking of cutlery and murmured conversations in the background. I've agreed to this meeting out of a mixture of curiosity and the need for closure, but the tension is palpable. Harry, looking older and more haggard than I remember, sits with his hands clasped in front of him, his eyes fixed on the table. I take a deep breath and begin. Thank you for meeting with me, Harry. I say, my voice steady, but my emotions tangled. I wasn't sure what to expect, but I needed to hear from you directly. Harry looks up, his gaze conflicted. Oliver, I'm glad we're talking. I want to apologize for everything that happened. I know words can't change the past, but I hope they can at least offer some measure of solace. I nod, trying to keep my voice calm despite the storm of feelings inside me. Apologies are a start, but they don't undo the damage. The years I spent in prison, the struggles since then, they're still a part of my life. I need you to understand how deeply you hurt me. Harry shifts uncomfortably, his fingers drumming on the table. I understand. I've lived with the guilt for a long time. I should have never let my personal biases affect my judgment. I'm deeply sorry. I lean forward, meeting his eyes directly. I need to know why. Why did you let it go so far? Was I just a convenient scapegoat for you? Harry's face falls, and he takes a deep breath. It wasn't about you personally. I was corrupt, influenced by the wrong people. You became a casualty in a system that was already flawed. I made terrible choices, and I regret every one of them. The weight of his confession hangs in the air. I take a moment to gather my thoughts. I've tried to move on, to rebuild my life. But knowing that you've had this burden too, it's a strange sort of comfort, I suppose. Harry nods, his eyes filled with remorse. It's a burden I wouldn't wish on anyone. I'm trying to make amends however I can. I've even taken steps to correct the record, and I'm hoping that will help. A pause stretches between us, filled with unspoken words. I don't expect forgiveness, I finally say. But I need to make it clear that I don't want any more involvement from you in my life. I want to move forward without looking over my shoulder. Harry's expression softens, and he nods slowly. I understand. I'll respect your wishes. I just hope that one day you can find it in yourself to forgive me. I offer a faint, tired smile. Forgiveness is a long road, Harry. For now, I need to focus on what's ahead. Harry reaches into his pocket and pulls out a small envelope, sliding it across the table. This is for you. It's from my daughter. She wanted to thank you for saving her. It's a small gesture, but it's heartfelt. I take the envelope and open it carefully. Inside is a simple, handwritten card with a drawing of a sun and a heartfelt note from Harry's daughter. It's a small, personal touch that surprises me. Thank you, I say quietly, feeling a mix of emotions. I appreciate this. Harry nods, standing up. I'll leave you to it. I hope you can find some peace. As he walks away, I sit there for a moment, reflecting on the conversation. The burden of the past hasn't lifted entirely, but there's a sense of release. I feel a strange mixture of relief and sadness, knowing that while I've confronted the source of my pain, the journey to true closure is still ongoing. With a deep breath, I tuck the card into my pocket and stand up, ready to face the next chapter of my life. As I step outside into the crisp air, I feel a small, hopeful spark amidst the lingering shadows of the past. The morning sun filters through the curtains as I sit at the kitchen table, the card from Harry's daughter resting in front of me. The drawing, a bright sun with a smiley face, feels like a small, hopeful gesture amid the long shadows of my past. My wife, Lisa, enters the room, her face softening as she sees the card. Good morning, she says, her voice gentle as she sits down across from me. How are you feeling? I pick up the card, tracing the colorful crayon lines. Morning. I'm feeling a bit better, I think. I met with Harry yesterday. We talked about everything. My conviction, his regrets, and the impact on both our lives. Lisa's eyes widen slightly. And how did it go? I let out a slow breath, still processing the emotions from our conversation. It was intense. Harry admitted to his mistakes and seemed genuinely remorseful. I told him that I need to move on, and I meant it. But there's something about this card from his daughter. It's a strange kind of closure. Lisa reaches out, touching the card gently. It sounds like a lot has happened. I'm glad you were able to get some answers. Do you think you'll be able to move on now? I nod, looking at her. I think so. It's not just about forgiving Harry. It's about forgiving myself for holding onto all that anger for so long. I've realized that I need to focus on the future, not the past. Lisa smiles warmly. That's a big step. And what about the job? Have you thought about how to approach that? I had almost forgotten about the opportunity at work, the one that seemed so distant when I was struggling to make ends meet. Actually, yes. My boss mentioned a promotion. It's been a while since I felt like I had a real chance to move forward. I'm thinking of taking it. Lisa's eyes light up with encouragement. That's wonderful news. You've worked so hard, Oliver. I'm proud of you. Just then, there's a knock on the door. I open it to find Harry standing on the doorstep, looking nervous but determined. He holds a small box in his hands. Oliver, he begins, I wanted to personally deliver this. It's a gesture from my family and me. I hope it's okay. I glance back at Lisa, who gives me a reassuring nod. Sure, come on in, Harry. Harry enters, and we sit down in the living room. He opens the box, revealing a collection of documents and a folder. These are legal documents acknowledging the errors in your conviction. It's something I've been working on with my legal team. I want to make sure the record is set straight. I take the folder and flip through the pages, seeing evidence and official statements that correct the past errors. This is incredible. Thank you for doing this. Harry looks relieved. It's the least I could do. I hope this helped you move forward without any lingering doubts about your innocence. As Harry prepares to leave, Lisa gives him a warm, grateful smile. Thank you, Harry, for everything. Harry nods, a hint of a smile on his face. I hope you find happiness and peace. I'm glad we could come to terms. After Harry leaves, Lisa and I sit quietly together, the weight of the past beginning to lift. The documents and card feel like tangible steps toward healing. You know, Lisa says softly, maybe it's time for us to plan something new, something positive. A trip, or maybe even a family event. I look at her, feeling a renewed sense of hope. That sounds like a great idea. Let's start looking into it. It's time for a fresh start. As we begin to discuss our plans, the prospect of new beginnings feels invigorating. The past will always be a part of me, but I'm ready to embrace the future with a lighter heart. With Lisa by my side and a renewed sense of purpose, I step forward into this new chapter, hopeful and eager for the possibilities that lie ahead. The morning sun filters through the blinds, casting a golden hue over the kitchen as I sit with a cup of coffee, the newspaper spread out before me. Lisa joins me, her face brightening as she notices the article on the front page. Oliver, she says, excitement in her voice, look at this. I glance up and see a headline that reads, Local Hero Redeemed. Technician's Heroic Act Recognized. My heart skips a beat as I read the accompanying article, detailing how my actions in rescuing the injured girl have earned me recognition from the company and the community. It's official, Lisa says, her eyes shining. They're awarding you for your bravery, and they're also offering you a promotion. I set the newspaper down, my hands trembling slightly. I never thought I'd see the day. It feels surreal. Lisa reaches across the table, taking my hand. You deserve this, Oliver. You've been through so much, and now, finally, you're getting the acknowledgement you've earned. Before I can respond, the phone rings. It's Mr. Reynolds, my boss. Oliver, congratulations. I just wanted to personally let you know how proud we are of you. We're not only recognizing your heroic actions, but also offering you the position of senior technician. Your dedication and integrity have truly shone through. I can barely contain my emotions. Thank you, Mr. Reynolds. This means a lot to me. I'm ready to take on the new role and continue contributing to the team. After the call, Lisa and I decide to visit the company to officially accept the award. At the ceremony, the atmosphere is filled with a mix of formal respect and genuine admiration. My colleagues and friends are there, and the room buzzes with congratulations. Mr. Reynolds steps up to the podium, holding a plaque. Ladies and gentlemen, today we honor Oliver for his exceptional courage and selflessness. His actions went above and beyond, and it's only right that we recognize his contribution both as a hero and as a valued member of our team. As I step forward to receive the plaque, I feel a mix of pride and relief. The applause is deafening, and I can see Lisa in the crowd, her eyes filled with tears of joy. I take a deep breath and address the audience. I'm truly honored by this recognition. It's been a long journey, and there were times when I doubted if things would ever turn around. But today, standing here, I'm reminded of the incredible support I've received from my family, friends, and even those who have had their own struggles. This award isn't just for me. It's for everyone who has helped me get to this point. After the ceremony, we gather with colleagues and friends in a nearby restaurant to celebrate. Harry, who has come to show his support, approaches me with a warm smile. Oliver, he says, extending his hand, I just wanted to say that I'm genuinely happy for you. This award is well deserved. You've shown what true courage looks like, and it's been a privilege to witness your journey. I shake his hand, feeling a sense of closure. Thank you, Harry. Your support has meant a lot. It's been a challenging road, but moments like these make it all worthwhile. As the evening progresses, I look around at the faces of those who have supported me, Lisa, my colleagues, and even Harry. The sense of camaraderie and shared joy is palpable. Lisa leans in and whispers, "I'm so proud of you, Oliver. This is just the beginning. We have a bright future ahead." I nod, feeling a deep sense of gratitude and hope. Yes, it is, and I'm ready to embrace it. With the awards and recognitions behind me, and the love and support of those around me, I finally feel like I can move forward. The journey has been long and arduous, but it has led me to a place of redemption and new beginnings. As I look ahead, I'm filled with a renewed sense of purpose and optimism for the future.